Hello there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Denisse, who said that apparently Isaiah has a birthday this month. I guess this is part of his birthday present. I'm like, man, if I'm part of your birthday present, I apologize because I I suck as a birthday present. But sincerely, Denisse, thank you, and to Isaiah, if you're watching out there, Denisse says hi and happy birthday and hope your birthday goes well. Interesting because my birthday is this month too, so is that it was like three of my good friends, Fabio, Efri, and Michael CP, we all have birthdays in May. It's like fate, luck, karma, interesting. And then apparently your birthday's in May, so go figure. But again, happy birthday. And it's a review for Chainsaw Man in anime episodes 1 through 7. Now, this is based on a manga. This came out 2022. As far as I know, there's only been one season. And there may be like a movie instead of a second season. I'm not 100% sure. But I had never heard of this. I mean, the name sounds appealing. Chainsaw Man. Kind of tells you what it's going to be about. And then you see the picture, look up some info. Okay, it's a guy with chainsaw for arms and like a chainsaw head. It's anime, of course, it'll be weird. But I mean, watching the first 7 episodes, I will say that while I liked ones, it's not anime, but like Samurai Jack, and I forget what the other one was. I probably liked them a bit more than this. This was still interesting enough, quirky enough. It did get some chuckles out of me. And this was still a pretty decent affair. Because, like I say, it's very unique. And it's funny because of the lead character, his interactions. The English dub, the voice acting is actually pretty good. Because sometimes you think, okay, English dub is going to sound awful, awkward, terrible. Not the case here. The people here sound fairly natural in their English dub, which I appreciate. And I definitely makes me go, So again, the One Punch Man, that was another one I saw recently. Like, I would put that above this. But again, I do appreciate that it was quirky enough that it did make me chuckle quite a few times. And you definitely get some violence in there. The first episode, you have this lead kid, a teenager, I should say, that he's going through a rough patch. It's a world where devils exist, and he has this pet devil. It's like a little dog, but it's got like a little chainsaw coming out of its head. But it's like very loyal to this guy. And the reason this guy's going through a rough patch is because his father died with a big debt that he owed. So sadly, this guy's having to pay it. Has so much money that he's selling his kidney, he's selling his right eye. Apparently he sold one of his nuts. That's what he says. But he still owes money. He'll use his pet to hunt devils and then get a payday from it to help pay this stuff off. He lives day to day, very, very low income, where a dream is literally to have like a piece of bread with jam on it. Like, that's how low income he's showcasing. That, oh, I have enough money, we can share a piece of bread. So he has very, very... His dreams aren't too big. You know, to find a girl, maybe get laid, and, you know, have, you know, decent food. You know, he's not asking for the world. So I definitely feel a bit sorry for the guy. He'll do stuff like someone offers him, hey, swallow this cigarette, you'll get some money. You think he does it, then the guy pays him, and then when the guy leaves, gets the cigarette out and spits it out. So he's not the dumbest guy. So one day he's going on a mission. He gets tricked by this devil that can look like anybody. Gets stabbed in the back because the devil has like a bunch of these zombies. He tries to make it out of there. He gets grabbed and he gets stabbed pretty much to death. Him and his pet get killed and they get dumped in a dumpster. But devils, if they get a little taste of blood, they can come back to life. So a bit of his blood drips into this pet, this devil. And then we see in the flashback that apparently devils can take care and take over bodies, dead bodies. And in flashback, this guy said, "Listen, if it happens to me, go ahead and do it." But instead, this pet tells him, "Listen, you don't get my heart, but you guys show me your dreams. That's the deal." So his pet gives his life. Apparently, there's a lot more to his pet than you realize. Gives his life so that this guy can live. Because he wakes up and goes, "Wait a minute, my eye is there and I'm alive," and all that's left of his pet is this little thing in his chest. When he revs it, like a chainsaw, he'll turn to the chainsaw man. So he has like chainsaw coming out of his arms, he has a chainsaw on his head. And as goofy as the idea is, I like the design, especially of the face. This is a chainsaw, but it's like these eyes and like the teeth are like metal teeth, kind of like this movie I saw, a Death Machine, back in the day. I thought the face was a very cool design. It's much more angry, crazy, excitable, ready for the fight. It just goes to town with the gore, just cutting limbs off, cutting zombies in half. Can take more damage than usual. Jamming chainsaw into this big devil's face. Even using its own head to jam the chainsaw into its face. And like I say with anime there, anything can happen at any moment. They definitely don't lack in creativity or imagination. One leads to another. He takes care of everything. The door opens and there's this woman from this group called Public Safety. She holds on to him. He calms down. You see that he kind of melts back to his human form. And she has an offer, "Why don't you join us as a devil hunter?" Which leads to episode 2, where this lady's being very nice and generous, but she's like, it's a very sexual type of situation where you're my pet, you're my pup, you know, little pet pup thing. And he keeps thinking about how good she looks and like very like one track mind. "I want to touch your boobs," that type of thing. That's a very common thing throughout this show. Because he wants to get to second base, he wants to touch boobs, all this other stuff. I mean, of course, you kind of find out, I think in episode 6 or 7, that he's 16 years old. So, that's why, because he's coming of age, so to speak. And he's able to appreciate and get a bit of luxury where, you know, simple food, place to take a bath, and you can tell that he really appreciates it. He's teamed up with this other devil hunter who's much more sophisticated, called Ati, who beats this guy up and says, "You need to get out of here and you're too young for this, and you know, people like you either flunk out or you die." So he beats our lead character up, but then the lead character comes back and keeps kneeing him in the balls. I like the line, "When I fight a dude, it's nuts or nothing." I thought that was pretty funny. And it's actually a pretty valid point. If you fight, nuts or nothing. And then when the guy tries to fight him, the lead guy does it again. And he's like, "You weren't kidding about the nuts thing." He's able to take the guy down, so I mean, if it works, it works. If it's effective, it's effective. So stuff like that did make me chuckle, did make me laugh. And they get to be roommates for a bit. At the end, you get a bit more of his mentality. He's saying he's like, "I really want to touch your boobs." And then there's another character that enters the picture, this fiend, who is kind of a devil, but kind of not. But she's a female, like human form, but got like a little bit of these funky ears, and like she'll form mallet out of blood. And there's this creature, Odysee, cucumber. She kills it with a mallet, and she's very ADD. She's very excitable. She's just very just gun ho, going for it, even though you're not supposed to. And as the story goes on, like Power is her name. She also works for the organization. Then our lead guy's Power partnered up with her, but then she tries to screw him over for this bat creature who has her cat. And at first, of course, he's upset with it. And the bat creature gets a taste of his blood, but realizes there's something wrong with the blood. So he's like, "Wait, Power Lady, you're screwing me over. F you, F your pussy, and your cat. Going to eat both of you." He's pissed off because she had promised to him as well that he could touch her boobs. And that's his motivation, which I guess, I mean, for a 16-year-old would be a hell of a motivation. So he revs up and fights him. Very, very bloody fight. Actually, a pretty great fight, honestly. Very bloody, guts and all everywhere. And it still can keeps up with that sense of humor, because when he does that, he saves her, and she's like, "Why did you save me?" And he kind of looks down at her. He's like, "Oh." So I mean, if that kind of immaturity is not gonna be your bag, I don't know how you don't feel about this. Granted, I was kind of hoping for maybe a bit more. Like One Punch Man, I thought was a bit more funny and imaginative with how, what if the most powerful man in the universe, his day to day life is the one he complains about. So it felt like there was more action. It felt like there was a bit more excitement. It felt like there was a bit more consistent badassery. And I probably got into the characters, especially the side characters, a bit more compared to this. This Ati is alright, but pretty much you find a backstory that his parents died from a devil, and that's why he's adamant against devils. Power, like she will kill anything in sight, but then this cat warmed her heart. And she works with the group, but she's very self centered. At times got a bit annoying. At times got a bit aggravating with her behavior and her hyperness. But our lead character, Denji, is his name. I didn't even mention his name, Denji. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind the girl who leads the organization, which I would assume there's something a bit more to her than meets the eye, and we just haven't been told yet. Because we see that she takes, it seems like a liking to Denji, but at the same time you say she's being very manipulative and realizing he's got this full potential power, and she's going to use him for whatever she sees fit. And we'll find that out later in the future. Never read the manga, so I don't know how far the manga goes. I don't know how close the manga is to this show, or vice versa. I would say like the last couple episodes definitely intrigued me a bit the most because you finally have the set group. You have Denji, that weird lady power, that kind of uptight guy Ati, but he's a bit of the boss of the group. He's dependable. You have this other lady, and God, I forgot her name, so I just kept calling her Patch. Because she has one eye, she's got an eye patch. I just kept calling her Patch. I liked her. Like, she was very like open-minded, willing to go along with whatever. The opposite of bitchy. She's known Aki for a while. She's a bit flirty until she finds out this kid's 16. They say, whoa, wait a minute, what? And like she was likable, and I thought she was like one of the better voice actors too. I'm like, I kind of want to see more of this character. And then you have these two new recruits. They're all in this hotel or this apartment building, I should say, and they get trapped on the eighth floor. And like episode 5 and 6 is like they're trapped on the eighth floor, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. And they're wondering, okay, well, what's next? What are we going to do? Some of the younger folks are getting more crazed. Denji's like, oh, hey, it's a comfortable bed. Let me sleep. And like, oh my god, he actually did sleep. Which makes sense. This is the guy that we saw at the beginning of the show, him sleeping in a shack on like pieces of wood. So a very comfy bed in this hotel apartment building looking place. Of course he would. And he also gun ho about everything because at the end of the day they're trying to look for this gun devil. And the lady leading the organization says if you're able to defeat the gun devil, you can get any wish you want. Which, of course, you know what's on his mind. Oh, he does able to get to touch Power's boobies, but it's so disappointing that it crushes him. Until the head lady's like, oh. And like grabs his hand and forces his hand onto her. It's like, well, it works a bit better if you have a bit of a connection with someone. And then there's this other devil, this eternity devil, that has them trapped on a loop. And that was kind of interesting that they were trapped on a loop. Not trying Groundhog Day, but like if they go up a floor, they're back on the same floor. If they go down a floor, they're back in the same floor. If they go through the door on the side, they come back the other side. And they're just stuck in this, still like a time loop. And you just see how some people handle it differently from others. Patch being flirty, she mentions how, hey, everything gets said and done, I'll give you a little kiss with a little bit of tongue on it. And he's like, really, what? And he's very gung-ho about it. You get to learn a bit of backstory between Patch and Ati. And like I said, that was interesting because like Patch, her character, I don't know, so interesting I don't remember her name. Like I said, she had a likable personality, a very free personality, not stuck up in the slightest. I kind of appreciated that because a lot of times these characters are either very meek. That's why I've seen a lot of anime characters, or at least the ones I've seen. They're either very bossy, bitchy, manipulative, or they're very meek, damsel, or something to do with sex. So to see someone here who's like more free and more gun ho and still dependable and capable, she has this thing that she has a ghost hand that people can't see it, but she can kind of push someone away or hold someone back, and she sees this ghost hand extending out to do certain things, but other people can't see it. And pretty much the whole thing ends with there's this big creature, our lead character chains to the Chainsaw Man, and just tearing into him, and it goes on for days. And if it gets hurt, he eats some of the blood and flesh, and he gets healed back up. I do like the way that ends because the creature's like, I give up, I give up. And the Chainsaw Man's like, are you quitting already? I'm just getting started. I just like how insane, like how crazy he is as the Chainsaw Man. Not evil, but just definitely more of this crazy energy to him. And again, I just like the great look. I mean, for those who don't know, there was a '90s film called Death Machine. Apparently, my neighbor's rooster remembers that. Just as soon as I say, it's like, yeah, high five. It's a film from the '90s, and again, if you took like the face and stuff of Death Machine, it's a band, it's chainsaw. I mean, I kind of like that appearance. I like that appeal. And things work out. They have a party. They realize he's 16 years old, and he's getting ready for a kiss. But then Patch accidentally barfs in his mouth, and it's like each time he gets close, it's like it's a very disappointing finale. One of the finale, he's found in her bed, drunk, but he decides not to do anything. You know, he's a decent guy at heart. She's thankful because number one's Alito, and number two, it'd be the immoral thing. Or maybe switch those. That would be number one. That'd be number two. And again, as a show, I mean, watching the first 7 or so episodes, maybe because I've seen anime shows like One Punch Man, some bits of Dragon Ball. There are times I wish there was a bit more action. There are times that I get the sense of humor, but sometimes it seems a bit too overzealous on it. It's like, okay, we get the point. A little goes a long way. Granted, there's a part of me that kind of goes, well, where is this leading to at the end of the day? Because, I mean, if the kid's 16 years old, you would think, no, they're not going to do anything to go all the way, because illegal, immoral. Granted, it's anime, so maybe that wouldn't matter. I don't know. I don't know. It definitely seems like the lead head lady, like, she has this nice, kind behavior, flirty behavior, but it feels like there may be something underneath going on with this whole thing. But at the same time, the voice acting on the English dub is very commendable. Usually that stuff is a bit sketchy, but here, like, I don't know if they put like a little extra effort, or they spend a little bit extra time with these folks to let's have it sound a bit better than other anime dubs. So I appreciate that. The animation, I don't have a whole lot of problems with. There's definitely some decent gore in it. Granted, One Punch Man, I think, had more gore compared to this. Which you think with Chainsaw Man, I guess in a weird way, I was expecting more gore. There is gore, but with an idea like Chainsaw Man, I guess I was expecting even more of an insane bloodbath. There's some, but I was expecting even more or so. I know that doesn't make sense, but I don't know how else to word it. Like I said, the premise was intriguing enough, the setup. I'll probably say like the first episode is still my favorite. As he got into the group, it kind of seemed like, okay, now he's partnered with RT, but not anymore. Now he's partnered with Power, but not anymore. Now we have this character named Patch. Okay, but now we're with this one devil. Okay, and here's these new recruits who tried to turn on the group because they were steered, and but then we get to see more of this group, and like episode 6 or 7, there's this party, and then we're introduced like a bunch of different characters. It's kind of like I'm not sure if I've gotten to the groove of things. I know I should not keep compared to One Punch Man. I just keep doing it because that was the last anime. Because Samurai Jack, that's a Cartoon Network show. But the last anime I saw was One Punch Man. And compared to that show, like that one, you have the setup, and then it's okay. Here's this cyborg guy who's going to be his partner and wants to learn from him. And then you see his goal to be part of the superhero community and training for it and try to go up the ranks. That felt like it hit a bit more of a groove. There's a bit more of a better flow. I could see a bit more of the set path. You see a little bit here where I guess this gun devil is going to be the where it's leading up to. I just didn't know. I just didn't think it was as much of a smooth flow compared to other stuff. But did I overall like it? Yes, it was definitely moments that did make me chuckle and did make me laugh. Uh, the lead character Denji, like I said, I didn't mind that lady. I keep calling Patch. I didn't mind her. The head girl of the organization, I didn't mind. Although I think there's definitely some ulterior motives, but I guess we'll see. Maybe not. I'm guessing so. But yeah, overall, yeah, Ati wasn't really sure at first, but I warmed up a little bit to him based on his actions. Again, the humor, it depends how you feel about the immaturity of that humor. Like I said, at times it made me laugh. I mean, battle wise, I would say the first 6 or 7 episodes, it's really just the battle at the end of the first episode, the battle with the Bat Devil. He tries to battle this leech creature, but he's a bit too weak, and Aki comes to help him. So I guess you did include that. But out of that one, I mean, I wasn't big on compared to the others. I mean, it's less of a battle, more of just a setup for this other guy to show that, he's got a bit of he's as much of a prick as we thought before. I mean, that creature, the Eternity Devil, it's not really a fight. It's pretty much just him in the middle, just tearing things up repeatedly. So maybe I was hoping for like a bit more battles, bit more fight, bit more. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting too much. But overall, I did like it. I did like it. I'd be intrigued to see what happens next. Like I said, I don't know if there'll be a season 2. I also read up that instead they'll do a movie. I don't know if it was successful or not overseas. I don't even know how they do ratings and stuff over there. I mean, there were 12 episodes. It was produced by someone called Mappa. And sorry, I'm looking up some info. Manga, I guess there was a public safety arc. There was a school arc. So I don't know if the sequel stuff would showcase that part. Sorry, I just want to check to see if I could find that girl's name, so I stopped calling her Patch. Himino. That was in Himino. But yeah, I would say like 5, 6, and 7 like those kind of were connected. Where at the end of episode 5, they're trapped on the 8th floor. Episode 6 is them trying to figure out what to do. Again, we learn a bit of backstory between Ati and, again, a T-Power Patch. Episode 7, he's able to get them out of there. Denji. They go to a restaurant, they get to know each other, they party, and then all that stuff I said that happens at the end. Then episode 8, I saw a little bit, like the first 5 minutes of that, just out of curiosity, see where it went. Just a lot of times they'll end on a cliffhanger, like, oh, he's about ready to touch some boobs. Oh, he's about ready to maybe sleep with this girl. And then you find out how things don't quite work out in the next episode. Again, it's a bit sketchy, though, because he is 16 years old. I know anime, Japan, they think things a bit differently, I guess. Yeah, not so much here. But with that said, overall I did like it for what it was. So thank you, Denisse, and happy birthday, Isaiah. Hopefully this review was okay. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.